The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical, paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com and use the promo code MANWHORE. No matter what you've got between your legs, you should have a box of Lola's 100% organic feminine hygiene products in your bathroom, just in case. Get 40% off all subscriptions when you visit mylola.com and use promo code MANWHORE. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the Jack and Jimmys, stroke blokes, and diddling dandies. This is Billy Persida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Can't quite hit that note. Or really any note, to be honest. Yeah, Bill, it's, as you're listening to this today, June 5th, it is my 30th birthday. Turning the 3-0, new decade. Not going to do a big old soliloquy on getting older. Don't worry about that. I don't have terribly many opinions. Although, I am frequently told that, your 30s are pretty boss. And it's like my 20s have been pretty sick. So it's like if my 20s have been training for my 30s, then my 30s should be absolutely absurd. Just kind of mentally preparing myself for a lot of people to throw around rhyming words like dirty and flirty. Those are really the only ones I know, but there's probably others. So yeah, no big plans. Just gonna go gonna get a steak dinner with my mom and dad and make them have to sit with each other for an hour for me. I got more to share with you. I'm back from Oakland from doing the live show out there. We got a great guest this week, Johnny Stone. There's some exciting announcements to make, but first,
get them hot, get them dates, show dates.
That is right, Chicago. You're getting your very own Man Whore Podcast live show on June 28th. The Man Whore Podcast will be presenting, stand-up comedians getting interrupted by their exes. Oh, yeah. I really know how to take, one concept and just try to drain it for every angle that there is. We're going to be having stand-up comedians doing their sets, but one of their exes will be interrupting them from a god mic. And then after the set, we're going to sit down and talk about why they didn't work out. So that is June 28th, 9 p.m. at North Bar in Wicker Park. You can get tickets for that at manwhorepod.com/tour. Use promo code Billy, by the way, you get $5 off. For really no good reason other than just I want to give you $5 off for paying attention. I'm not tweeting that promo code. If you want to see me do some stand-up, Prestonburg, Kentucky, June 7th, I'm going to be at the Jenny Wiley State Resort at 8 p.m. Something tells me it's not going to be super resorty, but we'll see. And then Brooklyn. I said the wrong date the last couple weeks. I'm so sorry. I'm dumb. It's June 19th at Friends and Lovers, 8 p.m. June 19th, Friends and Lovers, 8 p.m. Free comedy show. But I'll never get these dates wrong because they're like the most important dates of the year. Yes, more important than my birthday, more important than the Man Whore Podcast anniversary. No. Man Whore Con 2019. Oh, yeah. August 2nd through August 4th, a bunch of fan whores are going to descend upon New York City for a wonderful, awesome, super fun, sex-positive weekend. We're going to be doing some social stuff. There's going to be some shows. There's a pub crawl. There's a party where, I'm not going to say it's an orgy, but, my dick will be out at some point. Man Whore Con 2019, everybody. And we've got another sexy supporting sponsor on board. Always excited to work with these people. Kelowna Willie. Kelowna Willie is joining the team this year. And yes, Kelowna Willie is exactly what it sounds like. they send you a kit so you can make a portable vibrating version of, your favorite penis. Anyways, you can take it on the road. Go to cloneawilly.com. Go get yours today. More people have been buying weekend passes. That makes me excited. We had 2 or 3 people buy some passes last week. The group is growing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be sick. It's going to be, survey says, dope. I think the kids are now saying lit. It's going to be lit. So come on out. If anything, ManWhoreCon is a great excuse to finally take that trip to New York City that you've always wanted to take. You spend some of it doing the sightseeing. You spend another part of it hanging out with us. Get your weekend pass today at manwhorepod.com. You know what? You can just go to /tour. To be honest, both the Chicago show and ManWhoreCon tickets are at /tour. So you could go to manwhorepod.com/tour, get your weekend pass. I'm back from the Bay Area. Did my live show in Oakland with my little sister. It went. Kelly would say, "What? I tried." I was like, "You were present. You were like physically there." But it was silly. It was a fun time. And honestly, outside of the live shows, I think I like meeting you all after the live shows more than the actual live shows sometimes. You know what I mean? I love meeting some of you who I've been emailing with or tweeting with for years. I met one dude I've probably been emailing with for 3.5 years. And then I meet some people who are very, very quiet online, but are so enthusiastic and excitable to talk to in person. Someone will be like, "Hey, my name's this." I'll be like, "I don't know that name. Tell me more about you." So connecting with the listeners is a really fun part of traveling, doing the show and all that jazz. The hang was great. We went to this bar afterwards. None of the people who served there really knew how to bartend or even use their computer system. They closed at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night because they just didn't know what they were doing. I like it when, our group is such good business that we overwhelm them and they close. So a lot of, a chunk of us went back to this Airbnb that Kenzie, y'all know Kenzie and I were crashing at with a couple people. And, one thing led to another and people were naked and there was an orgy. I don't know how or why these things happen to me, but they just kind of do. A group of us went back to the Airbnb and we were just kind of talking. We talked about the show. We talked about poly stuff. We talked about, sex positive stuff and all that. And then eventually someone was just like, "Hey, why don't we go up to the loft and just have a cuddle puddle?" Anyone feeling a cuddle puddle? As soon as we laid down for the cuddle puddle, there were a bunch of different sets of hands on different parts of my body. And it was awesome. And, things devolved. And for a few hours, we just kind of kissed and touched and stroked and sucked and licked. And I don't know if anyone else fucked. I fucked. One woman took a very liberal chance. Just I was going down on her friend and she just straight up stuck fingers in my ass. And it's yes, asking is good. You took a consensual gamble and it happened to pay off. But, ask first in the future, especially when you don't know the individual. Yeah, that was just magical. I woke up the next morning at 7 a.m. and I was so pissed to be awake at 7 a.m. But it was so hard to be mad because it was my life is absurd. Oh my gosh, I won't go into super details about the orgy because you guys don't want to hear that. But there was this little placard signage thing in the loft area. There was a Bible quote overlooking the orgy and just said, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7. And I think that kind of explains the lady putting the fingers in my butt without asking. She's like, "I'm just going to walk with my fingers are just going to go for a walk. We're not going to look. We're just going to hope for the best." Up in there. It was great though. If you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I missed that," you should have came to the live show. It is funny. There was one woman who on Twitter who, we were DMing and she was in the Bay Area. I could tell she was from the Bay Area and I asked, "Well, are you coming to the show in Oakland?" She said, "I really want to, but my husband got tickets for a different live podcast the night before, and we can only get a babysitter for one night. And part of me is all like, well, who the fuck did you... who the fuck beat me? And then it was Armchair Expert, which is Dax Shepard. And I was like, okay, fair. He's way more famous than me. I understand. You have to make decisions. So, hey, Mrs. D, I hope the show was fun. Fun enough to miss out on our Man Whore podcast live show. She did say some nice words, though. She was saying, after spending 7 years trying to have another baby, we're now trying to recapture a sex life that's for us, and podcasts like yours help. Funny enough, they also help us in our goal of teaching sex positivity to our kids, including our 8-year-old who's dealing with puberty and everything else that goes with it. I appreciate the tools and knowledge that help me with both of those endeavors. My passions are mental health, sexuality, grief, and pregnancy loss. I've found that just talking about myself can help others. As a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, I just assumed I was broken and that there were limitations to my sex life and enjoyment of sex. Having others speak so openly about all facets of sex and sexuality and finding safe spaces for me to talk about it as well has opened my eyes so much in the last several years. It's an intriguing journey. So I hope you don't discount the role you may play in that kind of thing for people. Just super nice to say about me. But again, if anyone asks, I just do dick jokes. I like to trip over low bars. I don't get paid enough to have a high bar set just yet. But thank you, Mrs. D. And thank you to everyone who came out in Oakland. Billy got an early birthday present last week. Holy shit. This was really exciting. Esquire put me in their list of the 15 best sex podcasts of 2019. You know what's funny is a lot of my haters, they've got podcasts. They have sex podcasts. They ain't on this list. You know why? Because they're no fun. Everybody lighten up a bit. Have some more fun. You'll make lists and you'll have random orgies with your listeners. Thank you. Shout out to Esquire for putting me on that list. Also, shout out to some of the other shows on that list that, I'm a fan of that, either I like the show or I think they're good people. I think we all know Savage Lovecast and Guys We Fucked. I think that's, obvious. We all know them. But, shout out to my friends, Cam and Karen over at Sex Talk with My Mom. Shout out to former Man or Podcast guest Kevin Allison with Risk. I'm sure you all also know Risk. But it is so nice to get recognition here or there because it just kind of reinforces like, hey, Billy, you're not dumb and stupid for doing this. You're doing good work. Keep it up, bro. And that's what your tweets, that's what your emails, that's what press like this do for me. And you know what else also does it for me? Organic tampons and pads. Yeah. Okay, maybe they don't do it for me, but they should be doing it for you. Because Lola is a female-founded company that offers a line of organic feminine hygiene products. Founders Jordana Keir and Alexandra Friedman started a company with a simple and, honestly, obvious thought. They were like, if we care about the ingredients in the food we eat and the beauty products we use, why shouldn't the same be true of our feminine care products? Lola products are 100% natural and easy to feel good about, and they offer a really convenient, affordable subscription service. Their subscription service is fully customizable. You can choose your mix of products, based on absorbency and how many boxes and the frequency of delivery. Lola offers pads, liners, and both BPA-free plastic applicator or environmentally non-applicator tampons. I'm going to be honest, I'm a bit of a dick person. I don't entirely understand all these things. Male privilege means I don't need to. But I like to support businesses that are founded by women and for women. So you know what I do, fellas, is I actually have a box of Lola products. I've got some tampons under my sink in my bathroom. You know why? Because you never know when you got a pussy having, guest over and all of a sudden the period starts. It happens. It's happened to a lot of us and it's super fine, super normal. Just be like, hey, honey, baby cakes, cutie, I've got you. And I tell her, hey, there's a box of tampons under the sink. And she comes back. She's like, oh my gosh, these are really nice. They're all organic. It's almost as if you care about the health of my pussy. And I'm like, yeah, I want to keep your pussy healthy so I can, keep playing with it. And Lola, by the way, is going to offer you, my listeners, a very special deal. 40% off all subscriptions. Look, I've offered a lot of deals on this show, but 40% off is like a lot. So I would say go get this now before they change their mind. 40% off all subscriptions. Just go visit mylola.com. Enter manwhore when you subscribe. Again, that's mylola, MYLOLA.com. Promo code manwhore. And now here's a different group of people who like to support the podcast, who I'm a big fan of. Let's do the fan whore appreciation moment. Oh, yeah. This is the part of the podcast where I like to thank a couple of the members of my fan whore community on Patreon. Want to give a shout out right now to Sean Mays. You're kind of like the prodigal patron. You came, you went, and now you have returned, and I welcome you with open arms, sir. Welcome back into our community. I hope you're having a good time. I hope I see you at ManwhoreCon again. Also want to give a thank you to Nick Doherty. Nick Doherty. Seems like a cool DJ out in the Midwest, man. I hope you're spinning the ones and twos and wearing the cans and, doing the hip-hoppity hip, whatever the DJ stuff is. I don't entirely understand it. I hope do you do mashups? If you do mashups, shoot me an email because I love me a good mashup. Thank you so much for your support. And you too can become a member of our fan horror community and receive a slew of great rewards. You get to join private sex-positive discussion groups and get access to over 100 bonus episodes of the Man Whore podcast and all sorts of extra content. So, become a member today. Go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Hashtag pay for your podcasts. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now I've got a great goodie for you. My guest this week, Johnny Stone. This kid, and Johnny, I'm so sorry for calling you a kid, but you're kind of a kid. What are you, still 22? This kid impressed the fuck out of me. You all know my disdain for young people. As I now am 30, I call them young people. I used to call them younger, but I feel like if I'm in a new decade, I get to say young people. I've been waiting kind of my whole life to condescend to young people. Get off my lawn. No, but Johnny Stone, holy shit. This dude, just so mature, so sure of himself, so knows what he's doing. He's got such a good grasp of his brand, what he's doing as a cam boy, what he aspires to outside of camming. Yet he does not see his entertainment goals as better than or more than his camming, but rather just another way to express his creativity. And he doesn't think that webcamming should be able to prevent him from becoming the next Johnny Carson. Was blown away talking to this dude. I when we were done, I was like, dude, I got to talk to you more. Can you do a bonus ep? He was like, of course, Billy, I'm here for you. My hot cam girlfriend's sleeping in the bedroom. We got time. When you are blown away by him as well, all of my $5 and up fan whores will get to hear more of him tomorrow in his bonus episode. But just such a cool dude. Go check him out on the things. Go watch him jerk off on the internet. Let's talk with the cam boy of cam boys right now, Johnny Stone. Fellas like Johnny Stone gotta make a living, and they can only do so when you hashtag pay for your porn or hashtag pay for some of your porn. And one of my favorite places to pay for my porn is hotmovies.com. Oh, I love this site. Is a pay per minute porn site. You sign up, you buy minutes. They don't charge you secretly, which is honestly, my biggest pet peeve with porn sites is having to keep track of what date my free trial turns into a paid subscription, or, having to figure out when to cancel. Hotmovies.com, you don't have to do a subscription at all. You can just buy your minutes outright and then use them where you want to. And they have such a variety of videos. Now, they don't necessarily have Johnny Stone on there yet, but I did search Johnny Stone, and what came up? Straight guys for gay eyes. And I was like, oh, well, that is kind of Johnny's demographic. Whatever you're looking for, you can find that and more at hotmovies.com. And you can start off with a free trial. Like I said, there's no secret fees, no hidden subscriptions. You're not going to look at your credit card bill 3 months later and see all these charges that you don't recognize, okay? Sign up for the free trial, hotmovies.com. Use promo code MANHOR. It turns the 20-minute free trial into a 40-minute free trial. And then once you fall in love with the site, you'll find yourself buying all sorts of minutes, watching all sorts of porn with zero of the guilt. So again, go to hotmovies.com. Use promo code MANHOR for 20 extra minutes on top of any package you sign up for. Hotmovies.com. And now, Johnny Stone. Found you through that like epic, video that that you and Ginger with the pizza guy, right?
Oh
thing?
my gosh, yeah, no. So
Be real. Was that?
It
staged?
was not faked.
Okay.
It was completely real. I was so shocked and surprised, and the moment that I felt it happening, I tried to like exaggerate stuff a little bit because I was like, this is where nobody gets this opportunity. This is completely real, and that made it so much better just because of the authenticity of it. So yeah.
But y'all had ordered food.
No, it wasn't a pizza guy. We tried to ask around, and like she asked her like friends, if they had came by and like knocked or something, and we think it was like a fan who like found out where she lived and like knocked during the show or something. Yeah, but we still to this day have no idea who was at the door.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Because that thing is that one blew up.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, I was like, let's follow this dude. And I was like, oh, he's fun. Like he's a good guy. And then it just turns out like you seem to be like the cam boy of cam boys.
Yeah, I've been hearing like through the grapevine, like everybody's like been saying like, oh, he's the the king of Chatterbait, or like the king. I've just been getting a lot of attention from my camming because of like how much traffic I've just been getting, and in general, like people I've been kind of putting myself out there. Like people are, it's hard to miss me now. Like as the cam boys, there's not a whole lot of cam boys out there. I feel like or at least they don't get the same like spotlight that I've been getting because of just the publicity that I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to cam myself. I hung up the shingles, and then I was like, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I want to get back into it, and then I go to a mirror, and I'm like, I'd have to do some work first. And
we do workout shows.
Would you say your fan base is primarily male?
Yeah, I think that I've really made some huge steps in the direction of a female audience, though, in the sense that. People just don't really look for that market, and I've kind of reached out and like discovered a market that nobody else has really like tapped into yet, and so a lot of what I'm working on is that.
Well, I think a lot of people assume that there isn't a market because they assume women aren't going to pay for that. Well,
because in the world that we live in today, like pussy is like rules everything.
Right.
Whether it's whatever kind of pussy is your pussy, it runs everything, and just women don't need to like pay for porn in society's like eyes, because they could throw a rock and hit a dude that'll come home with them, from a bar or some shit.
Right.
And so it's just like seen as like easily accessible, and they wouldn't want that. But a lot of men don't understand that like, women's sexuality is very, very like 90% mentality. It's 90% like mental and not physical like men. And I basically just looked at that aspect of it and just realized like, women would appreciate the more sensual like parts of porn, and like the personability that I as a entertainer and like male model give to my fans is exactly what a girl wants to like see in like sexual experiences or relationships, is that attention to detail, like just the mentality of it.
Yeah, like when I sugar babied, like it was almost more, it wasn't like it was all textual. Like we met up in person. One, she lives in a different state, but the idea was like it kind of felt like she just wanted a boyfriendy vibe without having to go find a boyfriend in her shitty city. So she was like, this guy, he's good at sexting. Yeah, he can do that stuff, but he'll also check in on me like throughout the day. And like, and it's like she paid a fucking big monthly premium for that. Yeah. And when I tell people, some people go like, that's what? I'm like, no, because exactly, because you do that.
Exactly, yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, because, everybody wants to be wanted. I think something that I've just noticed myself personally, so I wouldn't say this like about everybody. I wouldn't generalize, but I think that in general, contradict myself there. But like, it's hard for us to like see what women want and like really hear what they want, just because like, we're trying to figure it out, and it's not necessarily logical. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah. Or when you just think about like female sexuality in general, or at least like when if we're specifically thinking about like cis women, like so much of their sexuality is internal, whether it's mental up here in the brain, for desire, or like internal, like, you know, you're not seeing the cum shot unless you did a real good job. You know what I mean? And so it's just interesting to think how like you're tapping into that. Yeah.
Well, so for example, one of my more topical videos, I guess, is I made a video called JOI for Girls on Minivids. And it took off.
That's got to be a big seller.
It was a huge seller. I did not expect it. I got a lot of negative feedback from male models as well as female models. Some female models thought it was stupid, and they were like, "This is never gonna sell. Like, who would buy that?
Who gives a fuck?"
Right? Exactly. It's like, then let
it
it not sell. Let me fail on my own. Then, like, why are you so concerned? And I think it's just that they're like, they didn't like the idea of it because they didn't like the idea of me. It's a little bit of personal vendetta there, but for the most part, women jumped to it, and I was just shocked. I was so surprised because, like, the idea to do it was just a spur of the moment, and then, like, I didn't even write a script for it. I just set up my camera, and I like got in my mood or what. Like, I got in a mood, and I was like trying to like think about like what would a girl want to hear, you know, that type of thing. And but yeah, just when I dropped that video, like, it blew up. Like, all the top girls on Minivids were giving it reviews, and like Minivids posted an article about it and everything. Wow. And yeah, it just got a lot of hype. It was one of my best rated videos for a while.
Well, and what's so fascinating still is this concept that, like, I think we're starting to, I think now when we're talking about paying for porn, we're still thinking dudes, but like, I think women really do want to pay for porn, and they need that stuff like yours.
Exactly. It's a demand that's not being supplied because people don't know it's a demand. Like, people don't really think it is, but it is. Like, a lot of my biggest tippers have been other cam girls, or like, or like girls that are interested in me. I've had girl like fan club members and stuff, like in my cam room and everything. It's hard to like get the gay community to intermingle like sexually with the straight community necessarily, but they still like, I still have like female fans that come around, and they just love it. They're there for the show, they're there for me, you know. And yeah, it's just really interesting to see.
I bet you're a lot of college girls like internet boyfriend to them, as they use daddy's credit card to give you tokens.
Exactly. Buy daddy a pizza.
Well, I guess this is a great time. I should just formally say I'm sitting down right now with Camboy superstar Johnny Stone, everyone.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh man, how are you feeling after this AVN?
Oh, I'm so drained. I'm not gonna lie. I really debated showering. I was like, should I just let him smell the stink? You know, just no. But
so you know, because you know, someone's gonna tweet at me like, "What's he smell like?"
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, you know, I got those sniffers.
Oh gosh.
But no, It was such a fun event. I think a lot of the winners well deserved. You know. And it was a pretty good award show, but I had a good time. I made a lot of connections, met a lot of people, got to see some old friends, make some new ones, you know. So, but yeah, overall, it was really great. GQ actually hit me up and did an interview with me, so I'm going to be published on their site.
Congratulations.
That's something that happened that really, like, yeah, I was just like ecstatic about that.
Do you know who else is in that? Because I know at least a couple of the names.
Tommy Pistol and somebody else, I believe.
Lance Hart and Ryan Driller.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You're in some pretty killer company.
Yeah, exactly. And they were talking about how I was the youngest one there. And so for the photo shoot, I decided to go with like a more younger boy next door look. So I'm hoping that plays off well with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wait, so now, I found you like I said, like through that interruption video with Ginger, Ginger Banks, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
So you said you just happened because she's in Arizona.
Yes.
And you were in Arizona.
Yeah. Did
y'all just happen to like realize you were both in Arizona? What the fuck? How does two random cam people in whatever part of Arizona you are find each other?
So a lot of what I do is like socializing, connecting, and everything. I use like all my social media platforms, and I always try to make like a good impression in person, like if I get the chance to meet them or something. And I was actually living in Kansas when that all happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically she was talking about the dangers of sex work, and it was an interesting read, like the thread, and so I was just checking it out, and I had a question about one of the parts, and then she answered it and everything, and I guess she just she really liked the question and like how I, you know, communicated with her, because I was like genuinely just trying to like converse to attain, you know, knowledge, information, and like not just argue with her. So she really liked that, and she immediately like hit me up because there's a little bit of like back and forth liking or whatever, and she's just like, hey, like, you know, you want to fly down to Arizona and work with me? And I was like, yeah. And so she bought me a ticket and I jumped on a plane.
Oh, she bought you the
She
ticket?
bought me a ticket
So
to go
does
stay
that
with
mean
her.
that she owned the content? Like she
No,
got to sell
it was
the video,
content
or-
trade. Like we just shared the content and everything. Yeah.
But she was just like, but she still was all like, I'll pay for the plane ticket.
She just didn't mind because the money we made back and everything, like, and she was she's really generous. It was a generous offer, and she just really wanted to like work with me, and she was figured like, you know, we're gonna make plenty of money back, and I'll do this same thing for some people as well, like that I work with. I'll have them fly out or like buy their ticket or something, you know. It's just a little courtesy, you know.
That's
So,
dope.
like, hey, yeah.
Well,
And,
yeah. Apparently, if you're really good at camming, apparently y'all rake it in, because like I heard staff members from AVN, like
Yeah.
people who were just like working the convention, but they worked for AVN just like as staff.
Yeah.
And they were like bitching home and be like, "Yo, some of these bitches make more in a month than I make in a year."
honestly, yeah,
It's
it's
like-
crazy. Some of those cam girls, especially, yeah.
So when I was camming back in the day, it was like pay you just chose how much you wanted to charge per
Yeah.
minute, and it was like actual dollar amounts.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden there was this token shit.
Yeah.
So what's with the tokens? What is it like? What's the
So,
token cost?
The tokens are really interesting, and I think that it in a sense, I feel like it helps people kind of not think about the money as much in some ways, but also it gives you like free reign to be a lot more creative than if you were to just do like, you know, per minute with one person. You get an entire room full of people, and there's just so much more interaction like. And tokens aren't necessarily, you know, necessary. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about it that much.
All right. Yeah, I know
be
it
fair.
confused me when I came back to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know. Like, what's a token? Like,
Yeah.
if you get a token tipped,
Yeah.
how much money is one token?
So on Chatterbait, one token is worth 5 cents.
is
But-
that a standard thing, or like does
so
it depend on
the
platform?
members will buy tokens, like token packages or whatever, and I think they buy it for like 10 cents on a token or something. And so Chatterbait gets half of what we make, basically.
Okay, but
Yeah,
not
so-
not after the token. The
Not
tokens you
after,
get.
no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
So
I'd be like, that'd be
the
double
members, the
dipping.
members pay up front when they buy the tokens, and then we get the 5 cents on the token.
And do you only cam on one site?
No, I actually like I've experimented a lot, and like I'm trying to spread myself out and adventure onto some new sites. But for the most part, Chatterbait is the like main place where I can, you know, get the most income out of and like most viewers and everything. It's the best site for males currently, I believe. If you want to really like draw attention to yourself or like, you know, get up there, like build a brand.
Is that because they have a lot of like?
They have a lot of traffic, and it's just one of the more like easier and bigger sites to navigate, and they're a lot more tolerable of men than other sites.
Sure. I've heard there's other ones like what My Free Cams doesn't let trans women like perform or something.
Yeah, it's an all female site. They're super. I actually got kicked out of their booth because I snuck into their booth yesterday during the awards show. Funny story, but yeah. So a lot of sites like MiniVids, even it took them a while to, you know, get on the train and finally like give guys more of a chance. I remember originally I had my account deleted 3 times maybe, and not once was like I given an opportunity to, you know, present my verification and like paper forms and everything. And just because somebody reported me and I'm a male, they didn't have the time to look into it, and they just didn't care because like we didn't make as much income as the girls. And but now they're doing really great, and I think they kind of realized that, like, people got on them about it. I definitely did. But now I'm all for MiniVids. I'm like, hey, good job, you fixed your shit. Now I love them, but there definitely still is like challenges with being a male in the industry, you know, like it's just harder to get the spotlight, rise up, you know, get our debut, whatever. So, but Chatterbait's just a really good site for that, I think. Like it's still, you know, they still have their disadvantages. I'm working on pushing Chatterbait to sponsor men, specifically me.
Sponsor men, and I happen to know a great one.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Why not? You know. But I figured I was like, I know a large like male model community on Chatterbait, and I've seen us, like myself and others, like rising and starting to figure it out. You know, and I feel like there's been a lot of people like to look up to in that sense too.
People that you look up to.
Yeah.
Because I got to imagine there's also dudes who get on there and they're looking up to you.
Exactly.
'Cause
Yeah.
you're Johnny
Yeah.
Stone.
Yeah.
You're the guy. You're the GQ guy.
Oh man, nah, seriously though. I am super humbled though by like everything on my site and just like my career and everything.
You couldn't have more of a 2019 millennial college kid vibe right now. You're just because you're so. Do you ever see 21 Jump Street?
Yes.
So
yeah.
it's like it's a similar thing where it's like the older Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum show up and they realize they're remembering what high school was like when I was in high school. It was fucking terrible and kids were shit. And now it's like so many people are like, oh yeah, chill, vegan, let's do things, let's make change. And it's like I'm straight, but like hey, fluidity. So who knows? Like it's such an interesting
vibes,
generational.
Yeah,
you couldn't be more good vibes.
Yeah.
So you found a community of male cam guys.
Yeah. Well, so I just think in general, like, guys just don't have the same like it's just so predominantly well known as a female thing, like when you think of camming you don't think of like cam guys really.
A lot of people are
so
very shocked
I feel like I'm kind of spearheading the cam guy rebellion over here. No, but just like I'm just kind of trying to make it known like, hey, look, we're here. And we want that same, like, we're going to get that same recognition. We're going to earn it,
Yeah. So, so you've now built like this community of like male cammers and you're like friends with them, I'm assuming.
Well,
and
so
know each other.
to speak on that before I get too far ahead of myself.
Sure.
I definitely didn't build it or anything.
Oh,
like
my apologies.
No, you're
my
good.
apologies.
You're good.
Yeah.
But,
so you're part of a community of male cammers. I should
yeah.
more accurately say. Now, son, I noticed walking through the booth. So at AVN, at the Adult Entertainment Expo, there's these long booths of My Free Cams was the big sponsors. They had a lot of these booths, but Charity had one. It's just that it's like you're seeing all these like cammers, most of them women or like vulva people, and they're all there, and they all look so different. Like a lot of them look super hot, a lot of them look like Ginger, right? Sure, but then there's a lot of like different buys. I mean, I saw one woman who like was very, very heavy, had like all these like piercings I didn't know were piercings options. Had like a funky looking face and look and hat, and on the back of her laptop just said like, let's get weird. And I was like, oh, so her brand is like, there's dudes looking for something dirty and fucking different and weird, and I'm that girl. Like, so we saw all of it. Now, the male cameras that this community you see, like, do a lot of them mostly just look like you? Like, is there a lot of pretty boys?
So I think that there's a lot of different looks out there. What
I'm trying to say is, I get back into camming?
Anybody can do camming. Anyone can. It's got a lot to do with personality. And like just knowing what looks good, like kind of like knowing your audience, For example, like my audience is predominantly men, and I'm straight for all intents and purposes. So like I had to, you got to like kind of just think about it, like what would a gay guy like? Like for when I first started camming, I was just so like unexperienced, just not exposed to like nude men all the time.
You've never been nude with men before.
Well, like like I just had a whole lot of experience or whatever. Like I didn't look at my body like all that much because I wasn't always paying attention to it. And when I started camming, like everybody's just like, Johnny, you got a nice butt. And then like a year later, I was like, wow, I got a nice butt. Like you just never noticed that feature or whatever. It's just really interesting. But you really learn as you go, and you learn as you do it. Like it's just about doing it and putting yourself out there and just talking and. But yeah, so you gotta get perspective and like know your audience.
So okay, but this community still, like, do they mostly look?
So I think that definitely scarce on the pretty boys, but I don't know, like everybody, there's a lot of different looks out there. You got all sorts of dudes,
Mm-hmm. So are like they're like doughier dudes, or they're
the more successful cam boys that I've noticed are the twinks, sure. The skinnier ones, smaller ones, whatever. They tend to like that on cam, like the twink look or whatever. But yeah, there's definitely like they're either twinks or they're really built.
Okay.
So I feel like I got lucky because I'm like a really in between. Like I'm like built but not too big and skinny. So I have that really pretty boy look, like you said. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's not too many like cam boys out there that are really making waves that I've noticed, aside from like a few friends in the community and stuff.
Anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, I'd love to give somebody
Twitter?
Who you would actually love to do a podcast with is my friend Leo West. He is, if you think I'm fun, you're going to be ecstatic to talk to him. He is just a riot. He's a great cam model. He puts on just the craziest shows and puts so much work into his shows. It just blows my mind. Like
what?
like he just how much like energy he has and like the creativity that goes into his shows. He always is doing something different every day, and like he honestly would love this opportunity to get on here because he's big about like talk shows and stuff too. So like he wants to start like talk shows and just stuff like that. But his fan base, like he's a really good cam model, and he's worked hard like in really similar ways, and I've definitely learned some stuff from him, and he's learned some stuff from me.
So what's like an example of something that you've learned from him, something that he learned, like what's something where you go like, oh, that's great, and then you kind of take that?
So honestly, like improv is one of the things that he like kind of really helped me exploit, I guess, on cam. Like it just helped me, like watching him cam and camming with him allowed me to kind of like just take a situation and turn it into like a more interactive situation on cam, something that they can get involved with. Like even if it's just little things, like do I want to drink tea or do I want to drink like tequila? You know, I'd be like, all right, tip, which one? You know, like it's just like really, he's really creative. So he's given me a lot of like creative inspiration. And then I think in return, like I've given him a lot of like ideas on just how to grow his brand, and like, you know, I've definitely like we've given each other traffic, and one of the big reasons why I love Leo and his cam work and everything is he's another good egg, another millennial who's just like, yeah.
By the way, I am also a millennial. Like people forget, like if you're like 38, you're actually technically still a millennial.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Like your generation is a whole different thing. But sorry.
But no, you're good.
He's a good.
So yeah. So, and the reason I say that is because just passing, we had the Minivids King of the Year contest, and we were neck and neck, and the whole time we were completely friendly with it, you know. And it's like either way, you know, if you win, fucking congratulations, that's amazing. If I win, like hell yeah, thank you so much. You know, like we were just really supportive in the community, and that's another thing that I tried to push, and that's like I want to kind of like work with the male cam model community and be like, guys, let's work together, because that's what these cam girls do, you know. That's how they do it, and like it just, you know, you guys can learn from watching other guys and learn from watching cam girls. That's what I did too.
Yeah. What's that community look like? Like, was it? Is it a group text? You got a secret Facebook group? Like what? Like where does this community
it's
live?
more loosely spaced, but it just in general, like I've met, you know, a lot of like talent going to conventions, because like I said, I go to all of them. So. But
because I could see y'all having like a kick group or something, like a little Snapchat group, just something like a group chatty thing.
Not necessarily, but like I said, it's a little bit more loose. But we definitely set stuff up. For example, me and Leo are planning a Super Bowl like cam party thing, and we're just gonna try to get a bunch of like, you know, people to come and like do a huge cam show and shit, and it's gonna be like just a pretty big deal, and like Chatterbait's on board, like, yo, we'll send you gear. So, but you know, so small stuff like that, I guess. I definitely just like, there's a couple people that I like, you know, keep tabs on. I, like, you know, just like, oh, what's up? How you doing? You know, and like just supportive of their career, basically. That's dope. Just like I like seeing where they're headed, you know?
You had said earlier, like, camming with Leo. So, like, does that mean, like, sometimes you guys meet up and do, like, side-by-side stroke shows or something?
Yeah.
Or?
So, that's the extent of, like, you know, my guy shows. It's just side-by-side stuff. Just because, like, whatever. You know, I'm not uncomfortable with it. It's not, you know, nothing, like, whatever, so. Yeah.
But you're talking to someone who's done the same. Well, I didn't cam like with guys. But like I got paid sometimes to come over and like do an in-person stroke show.
Yeah,
I also lived in New York City, for college. So it was like,
absolutely.
Like Craigslist was abundant of opportunities. And so like I would just like lay in this dude's bed next to him while we both jerked off the porn. Just only one of us left with more money than the other. But I just get an idea of like what that looked like. And so that thing where you call up, be like, yo, let's jerk off.
Yeah, so like I said, he's just really creative, and a lot of the times what you put into your shows, it's not, you don't really even need to focus on the sex, because you're an entertainer first and foremost. Of course, sex is important and very crucial, but if you have a bad personality, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good at sex you are. You should just do professional porn at that point, because then people don't have to see your personality.
I was about to say that. Like, I think there is a difference between people who do. And I don't even know how, like, the terminology is now starting to change. I don't even know what to say anymore, because like porn is like so it's like scene work. Is that like a proper
scene work
way
would
to
be a good
that?
way. Yeah,
so it's like those people, you don't know, but like it's all about
the personality. Yeah, and so that's one of the main reasons why I've stuck with camming. I've branched out and I've done a little bit of scene work here and there. and I honestly just want to build my own brand, because what I've noticed about scene work is that it's really like, it's not bad and it's not like worse to do or anything, but it's just like my personal approach and style is much different. I want to build my own brand and image, and I can own it, you know, like I don't have to like show, I don't have to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I don't have to, you know, like whatever. So, and then like I know my worth a lot more too, is the other thing about like being able to be your own boss in that situation, like run your own shows, you know, create your own content, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, like camming is kind of like the podcasting of entertainment. Because why do they like this shit? It's like they get to know Billy. Like they're like the people who like me, like they like Billy, you know, like they're all about that. They didn't see me on a show. I can't act or anything. They didn't see me do stand up on Comedy Central, but they listen to this shit every week. And that's the personal connection. The same thing with the camming. Yeah. I mean, I had by the time I stopped camming when I was in college, like I had like regulars and people would check in, and whatever roommate, like I could keep little notes. Can you do that? Like if you do one, I guess I don't even know the landscape anymore. So do you still have like opportunities to do privates, right? That's still a thing. Yeah. You can go from the group. Yeah. Okay. Can you keep like individual notes on particular like users? Where like, let's say like you were in a private and you're chatting and all that stuff, and like you're talking about his divorce. I'm like, I make a little note. It's like, okay, like, you know, mid-40s divorce, secretly bi or whatever. You know, that way, like when he comes back, I can remember. It's like, oh yeah, this guy. And
then, for the most part, I honestly, I have really good memory, and I'll just memorize it. Sure. Like if they're if they stick around enough, if like, you know, it's somebody who I can tell is like not just, you know, hi bye. Like there's, you know, I'll commit to memory a lot of things. Like for all my fans, I try to do birthday stuff for them. Oh, that's nice. So like on their birthday, I'll be like, all right, what are we baking? You know, or like play happy birthday to them on the piano if they're busy, because you know it's their birthday. So I get they don't want to like be on camera or whatever. So I'll just like stop in real quick. We'll play happy birthday on the piano and sing it to you and shit. Just, you know, be extra, maybe blow out some candles, whatever. But yeah, so I definitely do take notes on my phone. They don't have anything for it on the website though. Okay. But for some stuff, I'll like, you know, take notes.
Sure. That's why. And now here's the other thing with what the landscape looks like today. Yeah. It's that like it seems very intimidating to start, even more so than when like 10 years ago. Yeah. You just pop on, make an account, do a thing. But I mean, Jesus, like now it seems like, how does one even start? And like, what do you do? Like you say like, puts effort into the shows, and like I think I'm thinking about how like, okay, how long can I keep someone talking on the clock, and then I'll do my I'm thinking the stroking part of the show, and you're like, no, there's like production value. And I'm just like, how does anyone even just start besides just making the account?
So honestly, like I can see why I was intimidating, and there's like a lot of backstory to how I started camming.
Well, we got time, and I got memory on the SD card.
I was working on music, and really unsure about going into porn and like camming and everything, because the opportunity presented itself, and at the time I was looking for some, you know, work that I liked doing, and I've always been really passionate about like doing something that I want to do with my life, not necessarily life, just in general, like. You know, just I want to do what I want to do, like 9 to 5s. You know, I'm just it's not a challenge. It doesn't present me with anything. I need a challenge. So, sure. And I was hesitant because I was like, oh, the stigma. You know, I was like, what about my future? Like, what if I want to do something with this or that career? And so I took a step back and I did a lot of research. And there's two things I realized. One, it doesn't fucking matter. You can cam and be a doctor. You can cam and be a firefighter. You can cam and fucking be a teacher, for fuck's sake. Like, obviously, you know, kind of little topic there. But so I realized that, and the second thing is, like, I think it's funny that you were bringing up the whole millennials and everything, is the way society...
I'm a millennial too.
I know.
I swear.
I know.
89. I am. I had DVD burners and you didn't. Like, you just don't know much about mixed CDs.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's true. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so
you were looking and you were like, you realized anyone.
So I realized anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, with the way that society is progressing, sexuality is becoming a lot more like, you know, just accepted and fluid, and people are starting to like, stop shaming like people, using their bodies and all that stuff as much. And I've always loved sex and been an advocate for, like being really sexually open, because that's a really big issue. I think is a lot of people get sexually repressed or just develop issues sexually because of the, like shit that society's like stomping down on you and shoving down your throat. And, so I took that and also realized like if I do, do porn or sex work or anything, all I know is I want to entertain. And that falls into that category. And if I don't like have anything to be afraid of, like completely showing myself on the internet, like everything, I have nothing to hide. So come at me, haters. Like, it's like, oh, you got a small dick. Okay. Tip 5 tokens. It's like, it's just an easy way to like kind of, and for example, another big inspiration of mine is like Eminem, like, just whatever. Grew up listening to him. I was like, yeah. One of the things that I
we all went through our Eminem phase.
We all did, yes. But one of the things that I really respected and like that I just saw and like really connected with, I guess, is like how he just owned it. Like it takes away anybody's ability to put you down, because it's like I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I have. It's just like you can't tell me anything that I don't already know about myself, type of thing. So I took that, and after that, it was just exciting, man. Like just starting camming, like it's not intimidating at all. Like, you just realize that you get to feel good for money in the comfort of your own home at any time. Make more than you would make if you like went to college and then finally got a job and then spent 2 years trying to work up, promotions. And you can make that before college, like, okay, yeah, or like help you pay for college and stuff. I think it presents a really great opportunity, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's really fun. Like, you can definitely have fun with it, if it's your thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this much, like, not like I'm trying to be like, oh, Billy's going to get into porn. It's just more like, but like, I do every once in a while, like, someone, like, a friend of mine in the industry would be like, hey, would you want, like, do it, like, would you shoot something? Would you like to shoot something? Oh, like, or I really want to fuck you, but like, I can only, my boyfriend, like, I can only fuck people if it's on camera for money. And I'm always like, no, because I did my one porn and retired. I got a blowjob from Siri before she retired. Fun times. Nice. Then the podcast was involved in it.
Yeah.
And I genuinely would love to kind of do that stuff if I didn't think it would potentially harm my career in entertainment. Like, could it mean I can't get cast in a show or in a movie or something? I mean, it means I can't be on anything Disney owns.
Yeah. See, I feel that, and so that was like my whole worry and everything is like entertainment industry is very, very picky. And so like I said, I just like
but I'm also not as attractive as you. Like, you will get so much more leeway looking like that.
Oh man, thank you. But
you were saying about how you had done the research about
so
it won't affect or you're worried about entertainment industry.
Yeah. So I was worried about that, and like I said, I just kind of realized, like, honestly, the things that I want to do, I don't necessarily need anybody to, like, if you don't accept me because you think what I do is wrong, that's perfectly fine. You can believe that. I'll just try to do it without that. Like, everything I want to do has to do with entertainment. You don't really need anybody to, like, help you entertain people. Like, I can find a way no matter what to, like, do what I love, entertaining people. So if it's like writing, for example, like I do a lot of little writing here. Like I write like little comedy skits and stuff. I want to like do stand-up comedy. I have this idea to do a completely nude stand-up comedy. Like,
we have those shows, the naked shows. We don't have one running right now in New York. Some people, every once in a while, someone takes the mantle and starts running it. But there's one that's been running for over a decade in Boston. It's every month, and it pays a little bit, not like a ton, but a few dollars, and you get to go. You do 7 minutes nude.
Yeah, but so basically, I just realized, like, society is kind of changing, anyways. Like, I feel like by the time that I really want to be where where I'm at with entertainment, or if I really want to like get big gigs, by the time that time like it comes around, I think that like sex industry is going to be a lot more like respected, and like they're going to be more open to it, and I don't know, like, honestly, even if I can't ever like branch out or do anything else, I love this industry, and I could definitely make a living and a career and retire on it. And I think a lot of people need to realize, like, yeah, like there's money in porn, but you also need to treat it like a career, you know? So
And there's a lot of people who don't.
yeah,
A lot of people who don't.
a lot of people think it's a quick paycheck. No, you have to build it up. You have to work for it.
And you can cross over from like adult industry to, you know, to like say mainstream entertainment,
like Hollywood.
but you got to have the numbers. That's the thing. It's like, that's
Exactly.
why it's a gamble.
Exactly.
That's why it feels like more of a gamble. Let's pretend it was me just to a day, your average person. It's like, if you try it and it doesn't hit,
Yeah.
you probably are screwed in entertainment. Oh, I was doing this. Or do you have a hard out time?
No, you're good. I was just checking the time.
Okay. So, like if it doesn't hit, then you probably will be, it probably is not going to work out for you in TV
Yeah.
and film. But if you do, like if you get Johnny Stone numbers of fans, yeah, dudes in suits, like if they don't care, they'll see the hits and they'll be like,
Yeah.
if he could bring all these chicks and dudes over,
Exactly.
then we'll cast him.
Yeah.
But you have to get that. You have to hit that first,
Yeah.
and that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Even scarier than going into say stand up, or
Yeah.
you know, because
And-
you could fail at stand up and just go back to whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
fail at porn, it's out there.
Yeah. Well, and so, like I said, that's the other thing is I kind of realized like I want to be out there, you know, like that's what I want to be, because it's like sex work is one of the more like honest entertainment industries. I feel like, and I was just really attracted to that, you know. And but yeah, you're absolutely right. So
It's a gamble, and
Yeah.
but on the other side of that coin, it's like I had the two thoughts of, and they kind of compete. But there was that line of thinking. The other was that we do live in an age where we don't need a middleman anymore. Like if
Exactly.
you want to be George Clooney,
And
you
that's-
do.
that's-
But if you want to be, OnlyFans is a great example. It's like
Yeah.
I don't need Instagram.
Yeah.
I have an Instagram that costs, what is that, like $5 a month, $10 a month, or something. I don't know what OnlyFans costs, but like.
Yeah.
You can make an Instagram that people pay for.
Yeah.
And you don't need no one else.
yeah,
you don't
no,
need approval.
Exactly, and that's kind of like another thing that I was monopolizing on is like I know my worth, and in this day and age, you
Keep
can be
saying
your
know
own
your
boss.
worth. I'm going to make you write it on the paper. But you're saying in this day and age.
But yeah, in this day and age, it is entirely possible to just like do whatever you want on your own, like make it there. For example, like I see people like talking about college, and everybody's always like, you need to go to college, and I do agree. I love learning. I love college. I can't wait to go. I definitely plan to. But you don't necessarily need college to start a career, start your own business, or just become whatever you want to be. You don't necessarily like you have to evaluate what you need exactly, because more than half the time all you need is to just do it.
Yeah.
Like if I went to school for baking and like learned bakery classes and got like all this other stuff and waited until I got like paper that said I can bake, and then try to start a bakery, like that works, and that's totally fine. But you could also just start baking and trying to sell, like you can sell your food, like
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's
pull up a YouTube video. You go bake.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just like the internet has made so many possibilities, like for people to just, take advantage of, like to make a career for themselves.
For sure.
And that's just kind of how I see it, is like worst case scenario, if nobody wants me, there's something I can do.
Mm-hmm.
There is something I can do that I can be happy with and, make a good living off of. So.
Someone can make use of that face. It's like that will
Somebody's always going to want me.
hope. Just keep your fingers crossed. The hair sticks around. That's really.
Oh,
the main-
it's my prized possession. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're
Or one
21, it's
redeeming
what. Hey,
quality.
I had a prized possession like that once too. Okay, I'm wearing a skull cap for a reason. Okay, unless I have my special shampoo, this stays on. But is a thing. Where the fuck do you come from? It's like, where does I keep writing these notes. I don't normally write notes
So-
this much. Like, I mean, I'm with Nina Hartley's.
Yeah.
We already recorded. It's a blank page. I just have opinions on you.
Okay.
And like I'm just like, this kid has a killer head on his shoulders. Then I say I don't need to interrupt him. Then I went under that and I said, cut me more.
Cut me more?
As in like there doesn't need to be as much as me on this. It's like
No, I feel like I've been talking way too much anyways.
no, it's perfect. You're because you're doing great. But then I'm focused on this. Like, where does this dude and this maturity that you clearly have come from? How the fuck did you end up like this instead of all nonstop partying and like blowing all your money on junk?
Well, so I'm just an old soul, I guess. But I come from New York. I was born in New York and
City or upstate?
Manhattan. And yeah, a little bit of Long Island action there.
Sure.
But yeah, I've moved around a lot, and I honestly just kind of had to grow up quick, and I've just feel like I've had an extra dose of common sense over the average, my average peer, I guess. And yeah, I kind of like, I was really broke and just moved around a lot. Didn't really have anywhere like that was like, completely,
when you say you move around, like the family's moving around and everything.
Yeah. A lot of like,
you say you're broke. You're saying like your family.
My family's broke. Okay. Yeah, my family's like pretty broke and everything, and we just like always, there's always something or some chaotic shit. Just a lot of crazy stuff happened. But I just kind of like, I've just always been very, very present and like aware, like self-aware. Like I just, I know what I want. I know who I am, and I know like, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's just kind of always been with me, and I've always I've always been very ambitious too. Like just for example, like about my future, like I don't even really like think about it. Like I think about my future obviously, but I don't like worry about the what ifs, I'm just kind of like, this is what I want. I'm going to try my best to get it. And if I don't get it, that's okay. I just strongly believe in like, you just gotta like, you gotta live your life. Like people focus on such tedious stuff so much, and it's just to kind of make the time pass, and it's like entertaining and everything. But you got to get to the root of like, what you want to do. And I think that question, I know I said it a lot, sorry. Right. But I think that question is just so vital and important to anybody is like, what do you want? Because it says a lot about a person and what they're willing to do to get what they want,
Do you care to share why you were forced to grow up so quickly? You made it was a very specific wording of something
just really young parents.
Sure.
Dad split, got another chick pregnant, split her, and just a lot of like chaotic, family. Just they were really young, and so my mom kind of had to grow up before she could really like raise me. And yeah, so I just feel like just traveling so much and being by myself so much, and kind of like I also read a lot, which my generation doesn't do.
I really wish they would.
I really do too.
I mean, our country doesn't read.
Our country, yeah.
But yeah, your generation is.
I did a lot of reading.
Y'all read a lot of headlines.
Yeah,
y'all read a lot.
It's all about the headlines. Yeah. No, but
what were you reading as a kid?
I really got into Harry Potter books the first books that I really got into was Magic Tree House.
Magic Tree House was good.
I read every single book in the series by the time I was like 9 or like 8 or 9. Yeah.
Those were solid.
Yeah. I remember reading a dictionary because I was really curious about words. I learned a lot of words that
I read
day.
the dictionary too, fellow
but
reader.
For some reason, I like my words, and I was just like really like ooh, yeah. But yeah, no, I liked Harry Potter books a lot. I love romance novels. I don't know if I want to like. Yeah, okay. I'm working on a novel, but like it's very like. I'm not revealing anything. I'm not giving like a due date. It's just like a side project thing that I'm like in some free time. If I feel it, I'm like, yo, okay, I got some inspiration to write. But I love romance novels, and
you're not the market for them.
Oh man. But yeah, it's something I wanted to do. I feel because like if I like blow up even more, if I keep doing what I'm doing, if I start dropping a romance novel, I think that that's going to be another really big like branding and image, and also like that's just something I take a lot of pride in because I've always loved reading and everything. So
was reading kind of like the escape from the reality of what was going on?
So I think I had insomnia, and so I'd spend most nights reading because I didn't know what else to do. But it also was a little bit of escape. Yeah, I never had technology, which is another reason why I feel like I'm a little set apart from my peers. Is I didn't like own a TV or like have any of that stuff. Like the first time I got a computer that was not immediately destroyed by my dad coming back into my life, I was 18, 19, and it's when I started camming, and a fan got it for me. That was my first like computer that wasn't like $100 PC that almost loaded the web browser, you know?
Right.
And that's like I'm still learning computers right now, and I feel like so behind because everybody's just knows so much about technology and computers, and I'm like playing catch up.
I mean, were you all pretty much like running from that? Is that what, like why? all the
No,
movement,
so
or-
I for a little while I lived on my grandma's farm.
Okay.
And she didn't like believe in
Kansas?
technology. Yeah.
Okay.
Kansas. And then just moving around a lot and just being so busy, you know, it's just like really, yeah, it's just really hectic. And yeah.
I mean, it just my I don't know much about you other than just sitting here, but from this part, your mom can be pretty proud about how she's raised you because you got, like I said, like this insane head on your shoulders, and or you're very good with media. Like you're just that, or you're a great interview. Like, you know, maybe you just have a lot of charisma and I'm falling for it, or like you genuinely like are this like oddly freshly turned 21-year-old who is not crazy, like who like
Well, so
it's very impressive.
thank you. I'm flattered. But yeah, I hope she's proud. She's definitely like the lifestyle. When I told her that I did porn and everything, she was pretty much just like, yeah, that makes sense. She was like, be safe, you know, like don't, you know, do all the things that everybody's worried about, the stigmas or whatever, you know, drugs, all that. But yeah. She was pretty supportive of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really flattered. I don't know.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
You may mention this about like social media and really good at that and branding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, do you have an Instagram?
Yeah.
Now, how do you manage your Instagram? I was one of the many people who like right after Thanksgiving got those taken away from Sesta Fosta. I don't know if you like noticed like right after Thanksgiving for about a week, like a ton of sex educators, porn people, anyone who's like really talking about sex on the internet got flagged for.
I was definitely really like involved in that and like paying attention to that big time.
Yeah. So how do you manage your Instagram in this like post Sesta Fosta world of like, I don't know if I'm going to lose whatever thousands, tens of thousands of followers you have over whatever.
So for the most part, I'm not worried about that too much, just because like while it does have a big impact, if you make sure to always have like a grounding in a market that you know is like always going to be viable. For example, if I lost my Twitter and my Instagram and my Snapchat, like all of that right now, I know it'd be okay. Like it would really suck and I'd have to rebuild it all, but I'd be okay because I have my baseline for, you know, my support, like my you know, as long as like my career and everything. It's not, you know,
you're saying that the Johnny Stone fans, like, okay, if I had to make a new account or if I have to go somewhere else, like they're gonna find me because they're Johnny Stone fans.
They'll find me because I'll make sure that they can.
Sure.
Like I said, putting myself out there. But no, just for the most part, I'm a really big on like business and just planning and everything, and you want to always make sure that you don't like put all of your eggs in one basket, especially when you're self-employed. Like, and well, I mean, you know, it depends. Obviously, like I'd go all in, like for, you know, opportunities and stuff like that. But what I mean by that is just always make sure that like you can support yourself in industry that's like so, you know, fluctuating. For example, when I started camming, I started making, you know, good enough money to quit my job and everything. And I eventually did because it was Taco Bell. So
I was going to ask her which like retailer part-time job it was. Taco Bell. Okay.
So I was homeless when I was 16. I got kicked out. And
of the farm or
no, so I was living with my mom at the time. But I got kicked out when I was 16, and all I had was $400 from selling marijuana and my backpack with my school supplies. That was it. I didn't get to take any clothes or anything, and I spent the money on a ride to Colorado to stay with some family. And I went to a credit union, and then I got a small loan of like $5,000. Invested in some landscaping equipment and went on Craigslist, found people that would work for me, got my sister's family to work for me, and started like, you know, paying them by the hour, and like bought some equipment, put $1,000 back on down payment, and then by 3 months I had grossed $100K in a landscaping company. Like we were contracting out JCPenney's, like, and we had this millionaire couple that were like had multiple properties, and we did a French drain for them on this like $1 million property and everything. And
my jaw won't undrop.
And so I was doing really well, and then I went back to Kansas to help my mom with legal issues and court stuff. And then I got robbed of $80,000 and I spent 20,000 of it on the legal fees and stuff like that. And so I went back to Colorado, 17 now. And
at 17, that was just 16. That was all 16.
I was still going to like high school. Like I went to this like online adult high school when I moved to Colorado, and then I started going back to like regular high school in Kansas. But then I lost all my money and went back to Colorado. Like fuck, here we are again. And started going back to school, and that's when I got my job at Taco Bell, because I was like, I just got to get something, a baseline here, because
sure.
so I got my job at Taco Bell, and I was still going to high school and everything, trying to get my credits. And that's when around when I was like turning 18 is when I brought a bunch of friends with me, because I was going to start my company back up. And that's when I learned the very valuable lesson of don't involve your friends with your work. Don't rely on them for, and so I got burned pretty bad there. I had 3 friends that I brought with me with no money, and ended up having to like support them, help pay for them, and they can get food and like pay their fucking electricity, and then they'd spend all the money on weed because it's Colorado, and they're like, woo. But
that's what I mean. Like, you stand out from them. You're the same age,
exactly.
But it's like most of the people I come across who are like in college, and even when I was in college, they're all the same. And I'm sorry to anyone who's in college listening, but like statistically, you're probably one of those knuckleheads.
Yeah,
and that's also kind of okay, because that's what you're kind of supposed to be. Yeah, at that age, you just happen to be.
I just feel like I lived a lot, like really fast and really soon. Like I was broke, and I saw people around me broke, and like drug addiction, and like a lot of death and all that stuff. And it's just like I don't want to live like that. Like, I'm not gonna make, like, if I work now, I can still have fun and be responsible, without like not having a fucking career later in the future or something. Like, just balance, But yeah, so around then is when I started looking at camming, because I was like, fuck, I can't support my friends, and like I can't fucking support myself. I'm trying to like get my company going. Like,
what am I good at? I can jerk off, and and I have a great smile.
I've always loved sex. I always joked about being a stripper or a porn star, because I love dancing, I love entertaining, I love sex. And my friends actually started camming before me, and I like found out they were camming, and I was like, yo, not here, because there's certain like circumstances why I didn't want them to cam where we were, and like it was my responsibility that they didn't, and like because it was wrong. And they didn't listen to me, and they did it, and they got me kicked out. Yeah. And they got themselves kicked out, and then they like ran back to Kansas, like, fuck you, kicking us out, can't even do it yourself. And I was like, you got us kicked out. But so then I was like, and there's just a lot in between there too. Like I was couch hopping for a couple months, still going to high school.
Are we even at 18 yet?
No, not 18 yet. No. So I was couch hopping a little bit, and still going to high school, working at Taco Bell, and illegally working more hours than I could. And then I'd steal my grandma's shovel and shovel snow, like for like money and shit around the stuff, and then just return her shovel afterwards. I made $400 shoveling snow one day in Colorado, just going around the fucking neighborhood and shit. But yeah, so they had cammed, and I'd gotten verified. Oh, sorry.
Tilt.
I gotcha. Yeah. So I'd gotten verified on their account just to like go in the room and passing and stuff. And I was like looking at it, and my whole thought process on like the landscaping, like why I wanted to do that, is I was like, one of those things that you could just do it, you don't need to have a landscaping master's degree or like whatever. And then I've always been really, really, really good at business. Like I just get it, it's like, don't spend money on that if you don't have money for it. Ooh. Like, but so I just took that, and it was like, grass is going to grow back every single day. So what I'm looking for is recurrent payment that's going to, because it's 10 times cheaper to like have somebody as a client than to sign a new client in any like, business term. Yeah. And so I was thinking about something that's really easy to do with, and I was like, hair, grass, stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, grass is always going to grow back. If I mow their lawn for $20, they already paid me to do it that one time. Why wouldn't they do it again? Sure. Plus that grass is always going to grow back, or it's going to snow, and then they definitely don't want to do that. So, and I just looked at it like that, and then, divide and conquer, like, hire people to go do the job. I get a little bit. I don't get the full amount, but I'm also working while they're doing that, Sure. And then I'm getting my amount plus a little bit more. and they're getting paid, and then that's just just start a business like out of nothing.
And what else goes back? You know what?
Your
People are always horny.
Yeah,
I'm always gonna get hard.
I'm like, yo, people fucking come like how many times a day? I'm sure there's a statistic out there, probably like millions.
Except for a lot. AVN though, not much. There's no time for jerking off.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Very little time for.
There's always the late night sex in the hotel rooms though.
there was that, but like if by the end of the day, I don't know. I was exhausted.
Oh yeah, no. There's definitely some days. I think the last day I was just like, we're going to bed. I was like, yeah, good night. But yeah, so I looked at it like that, and I was like, this is like that's fucking amazing. That means that somebody's going to come back and probably jerk off to, not every day, but every day there's at least one person new who's going to be like, fuck, he's hot. And like, even if you're not hot, they're just going to be like, oh my God, what is he doing that's so hot? Like, so it's just like clicked, and I was just tried it out a little bit, and I was just trying to make ends meet, get an apartment. And, so I was couch hopping, and there's like one girl, like I didn't own a computer or a laptop,
which still boggles my mind. But yeah.
And so I, this one girl, like, she like kind of wanted to cam to like make the extra money and stuff, and she'd let me like stay at her apartment and I'd fuck her basically.
Basically, you had to fuck her for content in exchange for rent.
No, I had to like fuck her for a place to stay essentially.
That's wild.
Yeah. She wasn't like not attractive or anything. It was just like sometimes like I just was in a spot where I just want to go to bed. Like I'm working so much. I'm just so just like I don't want to. But so we do shows and stuff, and I made a little money there. And then I was doing Taco Bell, and like I said, like shoveling snow and all that stuff. And I got enough money for an apartment. I got an apartment, and my friends had planned on getting a roommate with this one guy, and they, ran away because they couldn't pay for themselves. And so I was like, hey man, you still need a roommate? I got an apartment. Do you want to move in? Yeah. And he's like a cam model too. And things went south with him because he wasn't very good one. Yeah, just stuff went bad. But overall, I do owe him some due respect for like kind of helping like teach me some stuff with camming. Like he definitely just taught me like the basics, and I was like, oh sweet, got it.
That's wild.
Yeah, but and then since then I was just like still a little on the fritz about it. I was like, I wasn't worried about it because I was like, I could still do any career that I want to, unless like it's really that bad. Like camming, it's nobody really cares, like you think people care, but most people that you talk to about it nowadays are going to be like, dude, that's so cool. You cam? And they're going to be like, what is that like?
Especially as a guy, which is the privilege, the male privilege that we got. But
that's
like,
definitely the male privilege, yeah.
But we also get to, like, people will just be shocked. Like, people are shocked that anyone ever paid to see me naked. I was like, I was shocked too. Don't worry.
So was I.
Johnny, holy shit. You are an incredible person. Do you have like an extra like 10, 20 minutes to do a little bonus episode for Patreon?
No, take your time.
Awesome. So Patreon people, you'll hear that tomorrow. But for now, Johnny, where can people find you?
The best place to find me is on Twitter, Instagram. They're both the same username at Johnny Stone CB. I am shadow banned. The CB is just for Chatterbait, and
gotcha.
I thought about changing it, but it's just like universal to like all my platforms. Like I try to keep it easy for everybody to keep up with, so I haven't changed it yet, but I probably will eventually. I just don't want to do that until like I can ensure the switch is like noticed.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it will pop up. Just search, like hit enter in the search bar, because I know what you mean about the shadow ban. So hit enter and then it will pop up.
It'll pop up in a mention or something.
Sadly, shadow banning involves like him not naturally showing up.
Too hot for Twitter.
Too hot for Twitter. Hashtag. Is there if they want to go? Should they just go there to find you, or is there another website they can?
And so my campsite is chatterbait.com/thejohnny_stone. And I'm actually about to find out here on February 10th if I've won Minivids King of the Year 2 years in a row.
Whoa.
So, and also MV Boy Vid. I got first place in both categories, and voting, or the announcement is on February 10th. So
fingers crossed.
But yeah, so Minivids is johnnystonecb.minivids.com. That's another big platform that I've been on. And my JOI for Girls video that I talked about is on there.
Okay.
As well as most of my boy-girl content that I've shot myself.
Amazing. Killer. Yeah. Well, Johnny, for now, why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
It was great to be on the podcast, and everybody go give all this guy your tokens. Get him on cam. It was great talking to you guys.
Yo, to like all the mommy fan whores right now, how many of you are just like, I hope my son grows up to to be like Johnny Stone. He sounds like such a nice boy. Just a great head on his shoulders and on his shaft, right? Okay. Johnny wanted me, because we recorded this back in January at the AVN Awards, or right after the AVN Awards. So he did want me to update you that his Instagram has changed. He had to make a new one, which, by the way, we talked exactly about. Didn't we predict this? He didn't freak out. He was just like, well, they want to take down my Instagram. The Stoneheads will know how to find me. So his new Instagram is at It's Johnny Stone. I also had to make a new Instagram. I am at Billy Is Precita. Go give us both some follows and tag us in your story. Do a little screenshot of your podcast player. Tag us both. Let us know you were listening. But you can give me feedback on this week's show and any other episode in all sorts of ways. You can tweet at me at @TheBillyPrecita. You can leave a comment on the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page. Or you can shoot me an email. Yeah, you can send your comments, your questions, your booby pictures to manwhorepod@gmail.com. Like I said before, we got a bonus episode with Johnny coming out tomorrow on Patreon because I just could not get enough of this kid. Okay, you can hear him and over 100 other bonus episodes when you go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Man Whore Con is just 2 months away, and I am so excited to meet all of you who trek out to New York City. Little note, if you are a New York City person, you want to spend Man Whore Con with us, that is great, but don't forget to get your weekend pass. I don't want to get an email on August 2nd and say, hey, Billy, where do I go? I'll be like, you didn't get a pass. Go to manwhorepod.com/weekend to get your pass today. All right. Next week, we should be having, I know I said, sometimes I shoot my wad and I say who the next guest is at the end of the show, and then sometimes shit happens. So, ideally, next week, you will hear from either Anna Superslut making her triumphant return to the show, or we might finally hear from a gal who forgot she had sex with me. Those ones are always interesting. Regardless, you're going to hear something fun next week. So until then, everybody, happy birthday to me and stay slutty.